obtained White House records of President Trump's activities during the Capitol riot on January 6th. Good evening. I'm Christine Johnson.
And welcome back. I'm Maurice Dubois. Those records reveal a nearly 8-hour gap in entries in Trump's call log and daily diary.
Now, this raises important questions about what Trump was doing at the time and whether he was also making calls on a so-called burner phone, which are those disposable and untraceable phones. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa revealed this information along with Bob Woodward of the Washington Post.
As chaos engulfed the Capitol building on January 6th, President Trump spoke repeatedly on the phone with allies and supporters, some of whom urged him to put an end to the violence. But none of those calls are reflected in the 11 pages of those White House records for January 6th given to the House Select Committee. There is a massive 7-hour and 37-minute gap in calls from 11:17 a.m. to 6:54 p.m., which includes the most violent period of the attack. CBS News has confirmed at least 2 calls during the attack that do not appear on the phone log or the daily diary. One call from Trump to Republican Mike Lee, and another call to Trump from House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, who described it to Norah O'Donnell by phone as the violence was unfolding. The committee is now investigating whether the president and top aides used so-called burner or disposable phones to avoid scrutiny of their calls during that time. The logs do show several incoming and outgoing calls on the morning of January 6th, including from Rudy Giuliani and former President Trump's chief strategist, Steve Bannon. At 8:37 a.m., Trump spoke with Bannon, who sources say told him to call Vice President Mike Pence and urge him to block certification of the election. Trump later did phone Pence, failing to persuade him. But that call is not listed in the records. There is a listing at 11:17 a.m. The president talked on a phone call to an unidentified person. CBS News has learned the Pence call was in that time frame. There's also a lengthy gap in records of the former president's movements during the attack, as recorded in his daily diary. At 1:21 p.m., the records note the president met with his valet. That notation signifies the president's return to the Oval Office from the rally. The next entry isn't until 4:03. The president went to the Rose Garden, it reads, where he participated in a video message to supporters.
This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home.
Bob Woodward said uncovering former President Trump's actions in those nearly 8 hours will be a key part of the committee's investigation.
These records seem to have disappeared. This is the day when they are protesting the January 6th effort to certify who's president. And the certification was that Joe Biden won. And 1,000 people attacked the Capitol right at that time that there's this gap. Who was he talking to? What was he doing?
On Monday night, Trump said in a statement, quote, I have no idea what a burner phone is. To the best of my knowledge, I have never even heard the term. The Trump spokesperson said that Trump had nothing to do with the records and assumed any and all of his phone calls were recorded and preserved. And Robert Costa joins us now from Washington.